Working out the bugs.
So inconsequential in the entire shot, and how nobody realizes that, how first of all, how Tony doesn't realize that, the producers, anybody involved. Here is 6'5", 6'6", close to 300-pound monster murder hawk Lance Archer, and he's standing in the back while two guys discuss the first ever trade. If that's me, I would have went into business for myself and stole the shot. Or I would have told them beforehand, we ain't rolling unless there's something for me to do, preferably at the end. I'll be the last thing that they remember. Like when Don Callis and Jake Roberts are talking back and forth about the first ever trade, the first ever this. If I'm Lance Archer, I'm stepping up. And I'm looking at Jake Roberts and I'm looking at Don Callis and I'm going, let me tell you guys something. Just remember, this doesn't go down unless I okayed it. And things are going to change around here. Blah, blah, blah. Something from Lance Archer other than being background noise. That's all he was. And then he walks off and he shakes Jake Roberts' hand and he basically mumbles, oh, thank you very much. What? What did you say? You had three words to say, and I couldn't even hear those. Why? Because the wind was taken out of Lance Archer's sails, because he was instructed to sit in the back like a fucking nobody. You don't do that to talent. But this is indicative. I also look at it. Go ahead.
I look at it, where was he in that whole in that segment? I would have had him lay out everybody to make this monster mean the most of this trade that just went down. If you think about real sports, what was everybody talking about yesterday? The Jets firing their head coach. But then what was the other part? Security had to escort him from the building. We're trying to get word of this. And then everyone's like, well, he's a big guy. He's scary. He's mean. This is a coach that I'm sure, I don't know what happened, but I'm sure he's not MFing all the way out the building. I'm also sure that the Jets practice place has, or their headquarters have cameras, which this will be revealed. But all this speculation of stuff that, and then someone confirmed that it happened. To Bully's point, if you're part of a trade, it's like, okay, cool. I understand it's a business. Hey, Jake, thanks for all you're going to do. You're going to regret this. In the Jake the Snake gravelly voice.
I thought he was going to lay Jake Roberts out. Like, I know Jake Roberts maybe physically can't do a lot, but I really thought Lance Archer was going to toss him out of the scene, or out of the camera angle, or hit or do something. I was shocked that he just went over, shook his hand, and walked away. Like, I don't know how any of that did anything for Lance Archer at all.
The beauty of Don Callis, and I looked and I was just like, man, he's so good. He had trepidation even after this deal is done and talking to Jake. Hello, Mr. Roberts. It's so nice to see you. Paul Heyman was great at stuff like that. Like, I'm still the con man conning you for this trade. And, hey, here's what we got. I don't understand how Don had those other guys, but, like, it's not really a trade. He just gave them Roosh.
Come on.
To Roos and the other guy, but I didn't think Don managed them anyway. But.
Yeah, that was the other thing too. I thought Roosh had already separated from Don Callis. Like, he already started a new faction. So, like, when's the last time we saw Roosh with Don Callis? Like, I was like completely confused by that entire thing last night.
It's impossible to do constructive criticism with segments like that because they're so blatantly wrong. That is such blatant misuse of a talent that should be special. But what have we seen with AEW since day one? Misuse of big man talent. They just have no clue how to treat them. And last night, in my eyes, major step backwards for Lance Archer, who I do not believe can afford to be taking steps backward.
Well,
No, and I was excited that he was on TV. I'm like, finally, they're going to do something with Lance Archer. He's on TV. He's part of this big trade. You know, he's going to be part of Don Callis' family. That could only be good for Lance Archer. But the way that whole thing went down, I was extremely disappointed. And I honestly felt bad. The last thing I should be thinking when that segment was over is sympathy for Lance Archer. But that's exactly what I felt when that whole segment was over last night on Dynamite. Busted open 24/7. Busted open 24/7. When we come back, our program director, Eddie Barsili, is going to give us an update on 24/7. Can't wait for that. When Tommy...
Layla R says, meet at door 26.
Stay in car, buddy.
Hello for Layla.
Alright. Where's the zipper? Hey, Art. Welcome. Have a good one.